this presentation we will look at how you access GIS data as a GIS user at Nottingham City Council. You will be shown where the data is stored, the importance of metadata, and Nottingham City Council's GIS team's recommendations for best practice for storing maps and data. As a GIS user at Nottingham City Council, you will have access to the H drive. When you access h/data/esri, you will see that all the data is organised by themes. As you open a themed folder, all the GIS layers available for a theme will be listed. All these layers can be imported into a map document using the Add Data option in the GIS software and navigate to the relevant folder. Approximately 150 plus datasets are available on the H drive, so it's worth taking some time to familiarise yourself with the different datasets. It's also worth being aware that these datasets are continually being added to. There are a large number of different datasets that are available at Nottingham City Council, and there is a small sample shown here. There is a large number of boundary datasets, for example showing wards, police divisions and districts. A number of datasets showing facility data, like schools, leisure centres, CCTV cameras. Datasets containing base mapping include Ordnance Survey, A to Z and Master Map. Different base maps are more suited to different uses, so later on in the presentation it will be demonstrated when it's appropriate to use different base maps. There are a number of themed datasets, for example datasets showing the indices of multiple deprivation and various domains. Raster datasets including aerial photography and historic mapping. All the different datasets that are available to you on the H drive are what are called layer files. A layer file is stored as an individual file outside a map document and can be added to any ArcGIS map document as and when required. A layer file is a special type of GIS file that does not store the data but points to the source data file, reading the data from a different location. The layer file actually stores a number of properties about the dataset that have been predefined. These properties can include symbology, field aliases and the British National Grid projection. Some of the layers have also been set up with predefined scale ranges to aid the appropriate display of the data. These properties stored in the layer file are extremely useful, and it ensures that each layer file allows you to access a dataset with the properties already set up for you. Effectively, the data is ready for you to use in the best form possible as soon as you add the layer file. Full information on how layer files are structured and can be used and managed is available at GIS 24/7 in Section 4 of the Online Beginner's Guide to ArcGIS 10 course or the Mastering ArcGIS 10 course. When you add a layer, it will appear in the table of contents in your map document. It is important to know that you cannot delete the source data. You are able to change the symbology and join the data to other data sources without changing the underlying data. All the layers on hData-Esri are being read from Nottingham City Council's main corporate GIS database, which is known as ArcSDE. Once you have loaded a layer into a map document, you can check the source of the file by viewing the layer's properties. To do this, right-click on the layer to open its properties and then click on the Source tab, and it will show you the file path of where the data is stored. Storing all our GIS data centrally in this way has great benefits to all the GIS users in the authority. Subsequently, the Nottingham City Council's GIS team are very keen that you, as a user, make your data available to other GIS users also. This does not necessarily have to be all users. It may only be a specific user group. Please contact the GIS team if you would like to contribute to the layers available on the H drive. To have a clear understanding of the data you are accessing, you will need to review the metadata. Metadata is defined as textual information which provides a description about different aspects of the data. For example, it could explain how the data was created, the purpose for creating the data, the time and date of creation, the data source, any restrictions or caveats that apply to the data. It is important that metadata for any new dataset is accurately completed, as this gives the users an understanding of what the data is showing. Without completing metadata, the accuracy and reliability of the data may be questioned. In order to view the metadata for a layer, you can use the Arc Catalog application, either on its own or from inside ArcGIS. In Arc Catalog, right-click on the layer and select Item Description. From here, you are able to view and edit the metadata. Nottingham City Council's GIS team are currently working on developing a customised style sheet to store our meta information. This will provide users with an easy, accessible way to complete metadata for any new datasets. Metadata has changed considerably within ArcGIS version 10. Information about creating and editing metadata for ArcGIS 10 is available at GIS 24/7's online training in Section 3 of the What's New in ArcGIS 10 course. Each GIS user has their own user folder on the H drive. This is located under H/users and your relevant department with subfolders to individual GIS users. This is your own area to store all your map documents and working files. Housekeeping on the H drive is important as we only have a limited amount of space. Please only keep what is necessary and delete any data or map documents that are no longer needed. When processing data, it is possible that intermediate files, such as from using the merge and dissolve functions, that additional files are created. These should also be deleted. If you find you do need to keep datasets which are significantly large, it's worth zipping files to save on disk space. Right-click on the dataset and select Compress to zip plus options. To review the size of your folder, right-click on a folder and select Properties. We would not recommend that any folder gets over a size of 550 megabytes. Please be aware that the structure of the H directory is currently under review, and we will notify all GIS users should this file structure change. As you process your data, you may find that you end up with multiple copies of datasets. This should really be avoided, as not only does it waste disk space, but it can create confusion as to which is the best or latest dataset. For best practice, the GIS team suggests setting up a folder structure which enables you and others to easily navigate through your folders and subfolders. We would recommend that you use meaningful names for folders, subfolders, map documents and datasets. For example, a project folder could contain data, documentation, correspondence and final outputs. Below this you may have a level of subfolders. For example, data may have an original and processing subfolder. This will enable you and colleagues to be able to easily find information relevant to different stages of the project you are working on. Setting up structured folders at the outset of a project before you start carrying out any analysis or data processing will often save you time in the longer term. Once a project is completed, any multiple copies of data can then be deleted. Please note that it is important to manage your GIS files through Arc Catalog. There are multiple files that make one dataset, and Arc Catalog will manage them all. Do not manage your GIS files through Windows Explorer, as Explorer will not manage all the appropriate files, and you may not select all the necessary files to be deleted. It may also be useful to create a directory for saving your GIS projects. When you load data into the ArcGIS software, you create and save what are essentially GIS projects. These are called map documents. Map documents are files with a .mxd extension. The MXD file references all the layers that you have added and other things that you set up inside the ArcGIS software. It could be tempting to create lots of different map documents for looking at different locations throughout the city. However, this is not the best or most efficient way of managing your GIS work. In a map document, you are able to create groups of layers and turn them off and on as needed, but you can also, inside a single map document, set up something called bookmarks. Bookmarks essentially save an extent or location on the map. Using the ArcGIS software, bookmarks are really straightforward to create. Simply go to the extent of the map that you wish to create a bookmark for, and then use the menu options to create one, giving it an appropriate name. You can create as many bookmarks as you like and manage them inside the map document. This way you can effectively set up different spatial extents for the different locations that you're interested in looking at and working on. To use a bookmark again, from the menu options choose the one you want and the display will update. The GIS team strongly recommends that you make use of bookmarks inside your map documents. By using bookmarks, you will not have a need to save multiple copies of map documents showing different locations, as they can all be stored in one map document as bookmarks. This will save considerably on space on the H drive.